Hello, I'm back with another top 10. But this time it's my real top 10. So people who follow me know that I read in several languages. And if I'm honest, a lot of the books that I read and that really moved me are not yet available in English. I'm sorry about that, but I really wanted to post it because who knows, there's a publisher out there, sees this video and he says, or she says, I want to publish that book in English. So bear with me. My real top 10. So I posted first a top 10 of all the books, recent books that are available in English. Then a second top 10 with all the older books. And now it's a complete top 10 with older books, recent books, and books in other languages. Here we go. On the 10th spot is Daniel Mason's Northwoods. I loved this book. I really enjoyed this book. This is the story of a plot of land somewhere in the United States and the history of the United States in a way, but told via a plot of land. So we start with a young couple that flees an early settlement. They don't want to stay there because it's too religious, and they build a little cabin on this plot of land. And then the next chapter is another generation who wants to develop the land and with an orchard, an apple orchard. And then the next chapter is another generation and another generation. And the wonderful thing about this book is that for every generation, there's another tone of voice, there's another way of writing. It is a masterpiece. It's really well done. It is gripping, although every time we change characters, you still are massively invested in those people and the plot of land. It is really well done, and kudos for the cover. This is a Dutch version, but it also exists in English. It's The Giraffe's Neck by Judith Schalanski. I loved this book. The Giraffe's Neck is a story about a biology teacher who begins her career in East Germany. And then, she's almost 30 years a teacher. And then, of course, there's the fall of the Iron Curtain and the Anschluss, where East and West become one Germany. And she really struggles with the new regime and the more, let's say, softer touch. And also she sees children or people just as mammals, like a deer in the woods or an octopus in the sea. For her, it are just mammals, just creatures. She really don't think about their soul or their feelings or whatever. And she doesn't intervene when a child is heavily bullied, because she thinks that it is a sort of a prey and aggressor situation like you have in nature. And that is really bad. I mean, the school doesn't take that very well. And it's a beautiful book. And more she realizes that she might be wrong. And beautiful book, The Giraffe's Neck. Of course, it's all over BookTube right now, probably thanks to Emily Fox. I've read this a long time ago, and I've reread it in English, in French, and in Dutch. This is by the Belgian author Jacqueline Harman. I Who Have Never Known Men. This is a brilliant book about a group of women, 40 women, locked up in a basement somewhere, and there's only a couple of guards, but they have no interaction whatsoever with those guards. They have been there for a very, very long time. They hardly can remember why they're there or what their life was before they were there. And at a certain point, they can escape, and they have to rediscover themselves and have to really rely on their survival skills. It is a marvelous, marvelous book. I'm so glad that Jacqueline Harman is being rediscovered. There are other books of hers that are just as good as, for instance, Orlando, also available in English by her. And brilliant, brilliant book. Jacqueline Harman. Benjamín Labatut, The Maniac. This is my Dutch version, but what a book this is. This asks a very important question. Because you can do something, do you really have to do it? And this is a question he asks of scientists. If you are capable of doing something, if you are capable to invent a bomb that can kill half of the population in one go, do you have to develop it? This is the question he asks. It's a brilliant book. It's in 3 pieces. First is about a man who works together with Turing, the second with Oppenheimer, and the third is focused on AI, artificial intelligence. Anyway, brilliant book, brilliant book. 365 days. I've read every single day. I almost read a book a day. 365 days. On the last day, I discovered and I read this gem. It is available in Spanish, Portuguese, Italian, Dutch, I believe also German, unfortunately not in English. This is a book by Argentinian author Frederico Falco. It's called The Vlaktes, or The Plains, if you translate it in English. This is a story of a man who is grieving because his relationship ended. And he moved from the city to the Pampas in Argentina. There's a drought there, and he wants to build a vegetable garden. But there's a drought, and there's a lot of things that make it difficult for him to develop that garden. And in the beginning, he only talks about that garden, but more and more towards the end, you know what really has happened. And you know not really why they separated, but how he dealt with it. And it is such a beautiful, gentle, fragile book. I loved it. Oh, I loved it so much. The Plains, Frederico Falco. Somebody please translate this into English. Another book that I really, really enjoyed and only discovered last week. It is Orbital by Samantha Harvey. Oh, this is also so beautiful. So, this is a story of a couple of astronauts that are orbiting around the world, around planet Earth. And it's just nothing but reflections of those astronauts about Earth. That's all that happens. But it's so beautiful and so well read, so well written. Oh my God, this is good. Oh my God, this is beautiful. If you liked The Employees, you will love this. It's a little bit detached, but still so beautiful. The Employees was more science fiction. This could be real. They are on the International Space Station, so this is not. This is really beautiful. A must read. Number 4. Here he is again, Mohamed Mbougar Sarr. The African Dan Brown, if you have to believe. Sean, I'm sorry, he isn't. But anyway, you know, some authors you like and some you don't, and I really love Mohamed Mbougar Sarr. I loved his The Most Secret History of Men. This is the Purs Hommes, I believe. The Purs Hommes. Real Men or Pure Men. Echte mannen. Een echte man. This is a heartbreaking book about the witch hunt to gay people in Senegal. It is the story of a literary professor in Dakar who teaches Verlaine and several other French authors, but or poets, but they are gay. And somebody found out via the internet that those were gay poets, and the class asks for sorry that he dared to teach them gay poetry, and he refuses. And then there's also a man that died, and he was being dug out with hundreds of people. There was a rage, and he is really curious why that happened. And turns out that the man was a gay man, or there was a rumor that he was gay. There wasn't even proof. There was a rumor that he was gay, and the people didn't want him to be buried on sacred land. That's why they dig him up and carried him around the village. And then he meets the mother of the victim. Oh man, this is so good. This is such a good book. A Real Man by the African Dan Brown. Sean, the book maniac. Anyway, and please read The Most Secret Memory of Man, History of Man, because, come on. On third place, I have The Vast Wilds by Lauren Groff. Brilliant book about a young girl, settlers again in the States. She's on the run for her life, and throughout the book you discover why she is on the run. I gasped for air after reading this book. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. Read it, love it, and be swept away by it, just like me. This is why I love to read books. Brilliant. Number 2 is a classic, just finished. The Magic Mountain by Thomas Mann. Boy, I loved Hans Castorp. I loved Casartelli and Claudia and everybody. I love the discussions. I love the tongue-in-cheek, which is Thomas Mann's best way of describing him. He writes with a very ironic pen. Oh boy, I love this book. So The Magic Mountain is about Hans Castorp, a young engineer who goes to Davos to visit his nephew, who is in a sanatorium because he has tuberculosis, and he wants to visit him for 3 weeks. At the end of those 3 weeks, he has to stay there because there's also a spot on his lung. And yeah, he has to stay there for 2 years. And during those 2 years, he meets all kinds of people who are staying at the sanatorium. It is brilliant. It is absolutely brilliant. But you have to realize that it is written with a big, big bunch of irony. Pinch of irony. Just enjoy. Enjoy. The last book is a Belgian book. It is written in Dutch, translated into French, Po. It is not a novel. It is a graphic novel. It is Vel by illustrator Sabien Clement and author Mieke Versyp. This is such a moving book. Look at the artwork. Sometimes there's a lot of text, sometimes there's hardly anything. But it is all so beautiful. This is a story of 2 women. One is an art teacher who is young and struggled with anorexia. And the other is a middle-aged, overweight woman who just came out of a divorce. And both are at a turning point in their lives. And they only meet each other through the art lessons, but they don't meet each other during the private time, just only there 1 hour a week or a couple of hours a week. And this is so beautiful. It is about the messiness of life and the messiness of finding yourself, your true self, and dealing with difficult moments in your life and rebuilding yourself, and how you deal with difficult moments and with joy. So both are at a turning point. The young girl is really finding happiness. She has a new boyfriend. She has conquered her eating disorder. And then something happens, and the older woman is, at the beginning of the story, just moved out from her husband and child. Her daughter, 16-year-old daughter, has decided to stay with the dad, and she is moving into a new apartment. And it's all new, and she is, although she is overweight, she decided to become a model at the art school. And she does it to find self-confidence. And it is such a beautiful, messy, real, heartbreaking, hope-giving, joyful story. And no book has ever moved me so much as Vel, Skin, Po. This is has to be translated into English. It has to be. It is so beautiful. Thank you for watching. This is my top 10 of 2023. And I hope 2024 will even be better. See you later.